Welcome back to Health Voices, the channel dedicated to empowering you on your health journey. I want to start today by asking you a question. Have you ever paused to think that something you do every single day, a simple, harmless habit, might be the very thing quietly harming your heart? To help us uncover these hidden dangers, we are honored to have expert on healthy aging and wellness. Dr. Morgan, join us today. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you for having me, Sarah. It's a vital topic. Because you're right, a heart attack doesn't always roar in like a lion. More often, it whispers first, and those whispers are hidden in our daily routines, the things we do without a second thought.
That's a sobering thought. And I'm sure our audience is thinking, you can't be talking about the obvious things we all know about, like smoking or a terrible diet, are you?
No, Sarah. I'm talking about the silent saboteurs, the small, seemingly insignificant daily mistakes that add cumulative stress to our cardiovascular system without us even realizing it. But here's the good news. Once you can see them, you have the power to change them. Today, we're going to count down the top 7 of these habits, starting from number 7 all the way to the most dangerous one at number 1.
This sounds like essential information for everyone. And for our audience, before we dive in, if you want to keep your heart beating strong for decades to come, do us one quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Health Voices. That way, you won't miss any of these vital health secrets. All right, Doctor, we're ready. Let's start the countdown.
All right, let's begin with mistake number 7, and it's one that happens the moment your feet hit the floor. Skipping your morning stretch.
That's fascinating, Doctor. I think this will surprise many people because, as you said, it doesn't involve food or drink. How can simply not stretching for a few minutes actually be a mistake for our heart health?
It's all about a concept called arterial stiffness. Imagine your arteries are like garden hoses. When they are healthy, they're like a new flexible hose, expanding easily as your heart pumps blood through them. But overnight, while you're inactive, your muscles and blood vessels naturally tighten up. If you leap out of bed and dive straight into the stress of the day, grabbing your phone, rushing for coffee, your arteries remain in that stiff, constricted state.
And forcing blood through a stiff hose requires more pressure, I assume?
Exactly. Your heart has to pump significantly harder to push blood through those narrow, rigid passages. Now, doing that once isn't a disaster, but doing it every single morning for 365 days a year for decades, that cumulative strain wears down the cardiac muscle, raises your baseline blood pressure, and accelerates damage to the delicate lining of your arteries.
So, what kind of stretching makes a real difference? We're not talking about a full yoga session, are we?
Not at all. We're talking about 2 minutes. As someone who deals with mobility and aging, I can tell you that what's good for your joints is often fantastic for your heart. When you do a simple chest opening stretch, for example, you're not just helping your posture, you're physically reducing the pressure around the pericardium, which is the protective sac that holds the heart. This allows the heart to beat more freely and efficiently. Simple shoulder rolls release tension that can compress major blood vessels. A gentle bend to touch your toes helps lengthen the entire posterior chain, improving overall circulation. It's a tiny investment of time for a massive physiological reward.
So the message is clear. Before you check your phone or sip your coffee, give your body and your heart a gentle 2-minute wake-up call. It's a small habit with a huge impact. That's a fantastic, actionable tip, Doctor. Now let's move on to mistake number 6. And I have a feeling this is one that millions of people, perhaps including myself, are guilty of every single morning. The first thing many of us touch is the coffee maker. What is truly happening inside our bodies when that coffee hits an empty stomach?
You're right, this is an incredibly common habit and a damaging one. Your body has a natural rhythm. In the morning, your cortisol levels, the stress hormone, naturally peak to help you wake up and feel alert. But when you drink caffeine on an empty stomach, That caffeine hits your bloodstream all at once, creating a massive unnatural surge of cortisol and adrenaline. It's like sounding a fire alarm in a calm building.
So it's essentially sending your body into a state of panic first thing in the morning?
Precisely. It triggers your fight or flight response unnecessarily. Your heart rate jumps, your blood pressure climbs, and your cardiac cells can become overstimulated, increasing the risk of palpitations or an irregular heartbeat. Over years, this daily hormonal roller coaster promotes inflammation and damages the delicate lining of your arteries.
Is this something you've seen have a real tangible effect on your patients?
Absolutely. I had a patient, Walter, a busy 65-year-old CEO, who came to me complaining of constant anxiety and heart palpitations, especially in the mornings. We ran extensive cardiac tests, and structurally, his heart was fine. After talking through his daily routine, we found the culprit: 3 strong cups of black coffee before he ate a single thing. I suggested a simple change: eat 1 hard-boiled egg or a piece of toast with avocado before his first cup. Within 2 weeks, he reported that 80% of his palpitations had vanished.
Wow. It's amazing how a simple piece of toast can act as a buffer for the heart. So the fix is that simple. Never drink coffee alone?
It's that simple. Pair it with a small snack rich in protein or healthy fats, a handful of almonds, a spoonful of nut butter, some Greek yogurt. The food slows the absorption of caffeine, smoothing out that hormonal surge and protecting your heart from the jolt. It transforms your morning ritual from a stress test into a steady, manageable boost.
That advice about coffee is incredibly practical. It leads us perfectly into mistake number 5, which, speaking of what we drink, is all about what we are not drinking enough of throughout the day. This one seems so basic, doctor. Ignoring hydration. How does not drinking enough water translate directly into a problem for the heart?
It seems basic, Sarah, but it is one of the most critical and overlooked factors in heart health. Your heart muscle itself is about 73% water. When you become even slightly dehydrated, losing just 1 to 2% of your body's water, your blood volume decreases. This makes your blood thicker and more viscous.
And I imagine thicker blood is much harder to pump around the body.
Exactly. I want you to imagine trying to suck a thick milkshake through a thin straw versus sucking water. The amount of effort required is dramatically different. That is the difference in workload for your heart when your blood is thick from dehydration. It has to pump much harder to deliver oxygen to your tissues, which raises your resting heart rate and your blood pressure over time. Chronic low-level dehydration is a silent enemy that encourages clot formation and puts needless wear and tear on your entire cardiovascular system.
Many people think that if they're drinking coffee or tea, they're getting fluids. Is that a dangerous misconception?
It is. Caffeinated beverages can act as diuretics, meaning they can actually cause you to lose more fluid. And here's a crucial tip specifically for seniors. As we age, our natural thirst mechanism can become less reliable. You can't always wait until you feel thirsty to drink.
So if we can't rely on thirst, what's the solution?
You have to make hydration automatic and proactive. Don't think of it as waiting for a signal. Think of it as part of your routine. Carry a water bottle with you everywhere. And here's a simple trick. Every time you get up from a chair or walk into a new room, take 2 or 3 big sips of water. By linking hydration to your movement, it becomes an unconscious, effortless habit that keeps your heart working smarter, not harder.
That's another brilliant, simple shift in habits. Let's move to mistake number 5, which, like stretching, seems so basic yet is so easy to forget. Ignoring hydration. How does not drinking enough water throughout the day directly translate into a problem for the heart?
It creates a state of constant, low-level strain. Your heart is a muscle, and about 73% of it is water. When you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood volume decreases. This makes your blood thicker and more viscous. I want you to imagine trying to suck a thick milkshake through a thin straw versus sucking water. The amount of effort required is dramatically different.
And our heart is facing that extra effort with every single beat when we're dehydrated.
That's the reality. It has to pump harder just to do its basic job of delivering oxygen and nutrients, which raises your resting heart rate and your blood pressure over time. And a critical point for our older viewers, the thirst signal can become less reliable with age. You might not even feel thirsty, but your body's already dehydrated. That's why you can't wait for the signal.
So what's the practical advice? We can't all carry a giant water jug around.
You don't have to. The key is to build it into your routine. Don't wait until you're thirsty. That's your body's late signal. Instead, link hydration to your actions. Every time you get up from your chair or walk into a new room, take a few sips of water. It becomes an automatic habit, not a chore. And remember, coffee and caffeinated teas don't count. They can be diuretics and make you lose more fluid. Stick with water.
That's a great tip about linking actions to hydration. Now for mistake number 4, the midnight snack. It's a guilty pleasure for so many. Why is eating heavy or sugary foods right before bed so detrimental to our heart's recovery?
Because sleep is not just time off for your body, it's an active, critical repair shift. When you eat a heavy meal and then immediately lie down, you force your body into a conflict. Your digestive system needs a large amount of blood flow to process that food. But during sleep, your heart and brain are supposed to be the priority, receiving the resources they need for repair and restoration. This nocturnal competition raises your overnight blood pressure and heart rate, preventing your heart from getting the deep rest it needs.
So you're essentially keeping the factory running when the maintenance crew is supposed to be working.
An excellent way to put it. Furthermore, let's talk about sugar. When you eat sugary snacks late at night, you send your blood sugar on a roller coaster just as your body's trying to wind down. This disrupts hormonal balance and, over time, can contribute to insulin resistance, a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease. The best rule is to make the kitchen off limits at least 2 hours before bedtime. If you are truly hungry, choose something light and easy to digest, like a small piece of fruit, not cookies or chips.
That makes perfect sense. This brings us to mistake number 3, a defining problem of modern life. We now hear the phrases "sitting is the new smoking." From a cardiovascular standpoint, what is actually happening when we are chained to a desk or a couch for hours?
When you sit for long periods, you deactivate a crucial system in your body, the calf muscle pump. Your leg muscles, particularly your calves, are often called our second heart. When you walk or move, these muscles contract and squeeze the veins, pushing blood back up to the heart against gravity. When you're sitting, this second heart is turned off. Blood begins to pool in your legs, circulation slows down, and your heart has to work much harder to maintain healthy blood flow.
So the damage comes from the long, uninterrupted periods of being stationary?
Exactly. Research is clear that even if you do a 30-minute workout every day, it may not be enough to undo the damage of sitting for 8 straight hours. The solution isn't necessarily more intense exercise, it's more frequent interruption. I give my patients a simple rule I call the 30-for-1 rule.
30 for 1? What's that?
For every 30 minutes you sit, give your body 1 minute of movement. It doesn't have to be complicated. Stand up, march in place, do 10 calf raises, walk to the window and back. That single minute of reactivating your second heart can negate much of the vascular strain of the previous 30 minutes of sitting.
The 30 for 1 rule. I love how simple and actionable that is. Now for mistake number 2. Stress. It feels so unavoidable. How do we differentiate between normal daily pressure and the kind of chronic stress that physically harms the heart?
Acute stress, like the alertness you feel before a presentation, can be helpful. The problem is chronic stress, where the body's emergency alarm is left on 24/7. In response to worry, traffic, or conflict, your body releases a constant drip of cortisol and adrenaline. This isn't a temporary state. It becomes your new normal. This constant hormonal bath is corrosive. It damages the lining of your arteries, promotes inflammation, and raises blood pressure, paving the way for a heart attack or stroke.
So what's the antidote when we can't just eliminate the sources of stress?
We have to learn to activate the body's off switch. There's a major nerve called the vagus nerve, which acts as the brake pedal for your stress response, and you can manually control it with your breath. A few minutes of deep, slow breathing, especially making your exhale longer than your inhale, is like physically pressing that brake pedal. It sends a powerful signal to your brain and heart that you are safe and it's okay to calm down. It is the most powerful, free tool you have to protect your heart from the ravages of stress.
Breathing as a brake pedal. That's a wonderful way to think about it. And now, we've arrived at number 1. You've said this is more important than anything else we've discussed. Why is sleep the ultimate pillar of heart health?
Because sleep is the nightly maintenance crew for your entire body, and especially for your heart. It's during the deep stages of sleep that the most critical repair work gets done. Your blood pressure naturally drops, a process called nocturnal dipping, which gives your heart and arteries a much-needed rest. Your body clears out inflammation. It balances the hormones that control stress and appetite. Skimping on sleep is like running a high-performance engine 24/7 without ever changing the oil or letting it cool down. It will inevitably break down.
And it seems like many of the other mistakes we've talked about all lead back to this one.
You've hit on the most crucial point. Notice how they're all connected. Late-night eating sabotages sleep. Unmanaged stress sabotages sleep. Too much caffeine sabotages sleep. That's why this is number 1. If your sleep is poor, nothing else you do during the day will be as effective. Fixing your sleep is the single most impactful lever you can pull for a lifetime of heart health. It isn't a luxury, it is a biological necessity.
Dr. Morgan, thank you. You've taken these complex ideas and broken them down into such clear, manageable, and frankly life-changing steps. It feels less overwhelming and more empowering.
That is the entire goal. The power to protect your heart is truly in your hands. These aren't drastic, expensive changes. They are small, mindful shifts in your daily rhythm. A stretch in the morning, a glass of water, a walk around the room, a deep breath, a commitment to your bedtime. Each one is a vote in favor of a long and healthy life.
A powerful summary to end on. And for everyone watching, we sincerely hope you feel empowered by this conversation. If you found this advice helpful, please show your support by giving this video a like and be sure to subscribe to Health Voices for more expert conversations. And most importantly, please share this video with a friend or a family member. It could be the gentle nudge they need to make a healthy change. And now, we'd love to hear from you. Look at the 7 mistakes we discussed. What is one small change you are going to commit to starting today? Let us know in the comments below. Your commitment can inspire others in this community. Thank you for watching, and here's to your health.